relevant saying, especially in these times, especially what we're living and what we are witnessing. In the theme of education, environmental awareness and education, is not a luxury anymore for the elite. And there's been an ongoing fallacy that, money is, there's a correlation with money and interest on education or interest in the environment. It's a lie. It's not true. Ha habido una mentira que se ha promovido de que la gente que no tiene poder adquisitivo no está interesada en educación o en educación ambiental o en el medio ambiente. Y esa es una mentira, es una falacia. Y tenemos que luchar en contra de eso. We observe it day after day working with children. They're interested in taking care of their planet. They're interested in making a change. It's very important, however, that we pass that on to them through example, not through guilt or responsibility that is not for their little shoulders to carry. It has to always be presented with a message of hope, of empowerment, of encouragement. Debemos dar un mensaje que esté lleno de esperanza, de empoderamiento y predicar con el ejemplo. Si ellos no nos ven a nosotros tomando decisiones que son saludables para nuestra comunidad, ellos no lo van a aprender por mucho que nuestras palabras digan eso. Es muy importante continuar por esa línea del ejemplo. Ellos están viendo lo que nosotros hacemos y no les corresponde estar preocupados, les corresponde estar inspirados y a nosotros escucharlos y seguirlos. So it's our job now to not give them worry, but inspire them and empower them and follow their lead. Thank you. So in Tulum International School, what we do is we wrote and developed a program that we call EFATA, Be Open to Wisdom and Goodness. La siguiente. Desarrollamos un programa que se llama EFATA, Sea Abierto a la Bondad. Y bueno, tenemos 7 principios. Estos son nuestros 7 principios: contenido académico, conciencia ambiental, responsabilidad social, autoeficacia, aprendizaje basado en pasión, enfoque de propósito y balance espiritual. So these are our 7 pillars, the 7 pillars of our program. As you can see, I mean, they're not in an order of importance. They're all as important. We want children to have an experience where they have passion and they have purpose and they acquire the skills to live those out. As you can see, one of our principles is environmental awareness. What does that look like? Because, it's great to see environmental awareness and let's teach the children. Es muy lindo decir, vamos a enseñarles a los niños sobre educación ambiental, pero ¿cómo se ve eso en la práctica? En una manera realista, sin juicio a las familias, sin juicio a la comunidad o a nosotros mismos, sino respetando el proceso en el que estamos. With real change, without judgment to our community, without judgment to our families, but being honest with where we are in the process. For us, that looks like having animals. They are wonderful and that have made a very big difference for our children. They are amazing emotional support therapists. They're wonderful company and they help us practice every day what it means to take care of others and what it means to have empathy for other beings that are not human. So in our environmental awareness program, we have 3 different areas. One is animals, permaculture, and the other, and very important one, is reduction of carbon footprint. So the way that we work, and we attempt to activate these things at school and with our community, is we ask students to not bring waste to our space. We ask them if they bring waste to bring it back home or to put it inside an eco brick. It's an initiative that one of our wonderful teachers, Katie, back there started. And it's working out, at least for us to see what's coming in. It's not perfect, we are not there yet, but at least they are aware, they know, and we're trying. No estamos todavía en el lugar ideal o donde nos gustaría estar en cuestiones de reducir nuestros desechos, pero tenemos ya una manera de medir cuánto entra a la escuela y qué está pasando, qué están consumiendo las familias, y abrimos diálogo y nos ayuda a tener al menos algo que conversar y siempre tener ese punto de mejora. So part of our community efforts are to reduce. We have a compost and we have a pig. So most of our compost actually ends up with Carmina, our pig. We do efforts of permaculture, which is kind of hit or miss. We have special guests come and talk about it. We have little plants and, we do as much as we can. We have we want to be part of the recycling program, so we tell the families to bring their recycling to the school. Invitamos a las familias a que traigan su reciclaje a la escuela para practicar, dividirlo y hacerlo, aunque estamos conscientes que pues esa no es la solución. We're very aware that recycling is not the solution, but we're still working with that. Field trips is a very important one because you learn when you love something. You know, it's what we call the circle of learn and love. El círculo del amor y el aprendizaje. Cuando estás cómodo, seguro, te sientes vulnerable y aprendes. When you feel safe and comfortable, you learn. You give yourself, you open up, and you receive. So when you love, you learn. And it's very hard to love something you don't know. But when you know, very likely you'll end up loving. So, you know, you will love what you know. Every single person has a wonderful story, and every wonderful place we visit on our field trips has also positive connotations that stays with the students and helps with that change. Entonces, algunas de las acciones que estamos tomando son la de composta, reciclaje, reducción es la más importante, y las visitas a lugares donde hay hermosa naturaleza para crear conciencia y que los chicos quieran proteger esas áreas. Pero no solamente ellos, sino nosotros que estamos guiándolos en ese proceso. ¿Cómo podemos apoyar a comunidades de aprendizaje día a día? Hay muchas comunidades de aprendizaje en Tulum. There are several efforts of different type of education. I've known and I've heard of many places that are doing wonderful things in their work with children. So reach out, ask them, hey, can I come and read a book? Can I join you on a field trip? Should I, you know, bring and donate a plant? We all love the help and we all love the special guest. If you have something that you want to share with our students, if you have a passion that you want to share with children, please do. Because that is really what makes a difference. Si tienes algo que compartir, alguna pasión, alguna habilidad, alguna historia, algún cuento, háblale a cualquiera de las... Estoy hablando por todas las escuelas. Yo creo que todos estarían contentos de recibir visitas y de recibir personas interesadas en apoyar. El proyecto en Sisbichen es una maravilla. Pueden acercarse y decir, ¿qué necesitan? Libros. ¿Dónde está el apoyo? ¿Cómo podemos ayudar? Una visita a tocar guitarra, cantarles una canción a los chicos. Eso es algo que no se olvida y que realmente deja precedente para ellos. So please do reach out and, you know, ask Abuelo Antonio, ask Sofía, Claudia, Ana, all the people that are involved in education. How can you be part of that? So, you know, Tulum is known globally because it's a beautiful place and there's great fashion and there's I don't know what else. But it would be awesome if Tulum was known because it's a community where the practices of environmental and social practices were really exemplary. So let's do that. Let's have people, you know, talk about the great schools that are in Tulum, the great education, the consciousness of their community, their unity. That is what people should be talking about Tulum. Thank you so much.
¿Sí? Hi everyone, my name is Ana and I'm part of the committee of Los Amigos de la Esquina. Soy Ana y soy parte del comité de Los Amigos de la Esquina. Ahorita les vamos a poner un video que hizo uno de nuestros fundadores, Jaime Cohen. We're going to show a video of a song written by one of our founders, Jaime Cohen. It's called Un Amigo. It's called a Friend. And so we want to share this with you to kind of give you an example of what we do at La Esquina and what we represent and exactly the community that we're trying to create. Les vamos a enseñar este video que representa mucho como la comunidad de que tanto hablamos, para que vean cómo estamos intentando como conectar a los niños, conectar a la gente de Tulum. Espero que lo disfruten y ahorita hablamos más.
Cuando no encuentres salida y sientas que la vida es una mentira y tu fe pierda fuerza cuando no veas tu camino y sientas que no vale tu destino. Recuerda que estoy contigo, no importa dónde estés, siempre estaré para ti, junto a ti. No importa dónde estés, en el corazón yo estaré para ti, junto a ti. Cuando estés lleno de alegría y sientas que la vida es pura armonía y tu fe esté tan fuerte cuando estés en tu camino y sientas que eres dueño de tu destino. Recuerda que hay un amigo, no importa dónde estés, siempre estaré para ti, junto a ti. No importa dónde estés, en el corazón yo estaré para ti, junto a ti, junto a ti, junto a ti, junto a ti, siempre estaré para ti.
Awesome. So I love this video more than words can express. I was in the States when this came out, and I made everyone and their mothers watch it. I made my parents FaceTime to watch it. I think it's the best example we have of how these kids in the community, they're craving this kind of family unit. They're craving to know that the people around them aren't just transient beings, that they want this feeling of belonging, and they want this feeling of being loved. And I guess it's easy to talk about the children, but when we talk about ourselves as these adults coming to Tulum, we all come for a reason, you know? We don't come because we want to just be this individual in this massive place. Entonces, lo voy a decir en español rápido, pero este video me encanta porque vemos que los niños como no quieren nada más que ser parte de la comunidad, quieren ser amados, quieren ser como importantes en su mundo. Y es muy fácil decir como, es que los niños quieren esto, pero cuando hablamos de nosotros como adultos, es la razón que estamos en Tulum. No vinimos a Tulum para ser un individuo y escapar de todo, vinimos para ser parte de algo un poco más grande. And so with these kids, we focus on three main parts. So it's well-being, it's art, and it's environmental consciousness. Entonces con estos niños hablamos del arte, del bienestar y de la conciencia del medio ambiente. And so these things that we make the pillars of La Esquina are the reason that we're able to draw these amazing people and draw these passions out of these kids. So, estos tres pilares de lo que hacemos en La Esquina, la razón que podemos sacar tanta emoción y tanta como curiosidad de los niños y de la gente que viene alrededor. So like just take for today, for example, we took a group of 10 kids birding, and then we took them to Sendero Verde, and we had them, you know, clean the plants, take out the weeds. We had them, you know, they all know like, oh, that's the plant that I planted. That tree is mine. You know? And so, hoy, por ejemplo, llevamos a los niños a pajarear, si nunca han ido, súper divertido, son más que invitados. Y luego después de eso los llevamos al Sendero Verde y oye los niños siendo como, ah, ese árbol yo lo planté, ese árbol es mío, ¿sabes? Y es esta sensación de que estamos creando algo en estos niños, que sientan que Tulum es suyo, que quizás cuando llegamos hace 2 años preguntamos, ¿quién ha ido a la playa? Y mitad de los niños no levantan la mano. You know, we're creating the sense of being. When we started this foundation 2 years ago, we would ask the kids, hey, who's been to the beach? And only about half the kids raised their hand, you know? They were born here, raised here, their families are from here. And only about half had ever gone to the beach. You know, so here we're really trying to create, you know, this community that we keep talking about. We find it here in La Esquina, and our mission is to grow this community from this group of, before it was 5 kids, 10 kids, we're up 40 kids now. We have 4 main committee members, 8 people on the team, you know, and so we're trying to grow this. Y eso es lo que estamos haciendo en La Esquina, como que la comunidad que tanto buscamos, aquí lo tenemos. Empezó con 5 niños, 10 niños, estamos a 40 niños, 5 personas en la comité, 8 personas en el equipo. ¿Sabes? Es lo que buscamos aquí con estos niños, es lo que queremos en La Esquina, aquí está, como aquí todo lo que venimos a Tulum para encontrar son estos niños que nada más se quieren divertir y pasarla bien y les pides, ay, ¿quién tiene el ecoladrillo? Y sale corriendo una de las niñas y trae su ecoladrillo, ¿no? Y le preguntas al niño de 4 años que eche la botella de PETA, tenemos como una canasta llena de botellas y ahí van. Y están aventando y aventando. And so when you ask these kids, like, how can I, like, be a part, you'll see them running to get the eco bricks, and you'll see them like passionately throwing their water bottles into this big basket that we have to collect plastic, you know? You ask them to clean something up, they're like, yes, I will help you, like, I will be your assistant. Y les preguntas como, necesito ayuda, y están como, yo voy a ser tu asistente. And that's a passion that I feel sometimes we lose as we grow up, that we kind of just kind of being nonchalant and not really caring becomes the cool thing, you know? So we all kind of float through this world not feeling part of it, you know? Que cuando crecemos, que quizás sentimos que, no, que no te importe es lo padre, como eso es como enseño, como tener esta sensación de, yo no. But then when we're with these kids and they just kind of show you like how cool it is to care. You know? Y eso es lo que queremos, que los enseñen como qué padre es que te valga, ¿no? Que sí es algo importante. And so here right now, what we're really trying to do, we're trying to raise funds so that we can build a roof, because every time it rains, we have to cancel an activity, and that sucks. And you see these kids just like, no, like please, like we can do it, and it's just like pouring rain, and it's like all our materials are getting wet. It's like, oy, like sorry, not today, you know? Entonces ahorita estamos intentando colectar fondos para construir como un tipo de techo, porque cuando llueve, así está así cayendo la lluvia, y los niños, no, como no, por favor, como no cancelemos, y así como todos los materiales se están mojando, como, uy, ¿sabes? Pero nos enseñan que como, no, como podemos, y siempre están, ¿sabes? Y siempre como quieren aprender, y hoy hablamos de como, yo les hablé de la evolución, que es algo que a mí me encanta, y todos los niños así como, wow, ¿sabes? Y viene gente de Corea y les enseña a cocinar y todos los niños, wow. Y todo como cuando tú llegas y les enseñas algo con pasión, los niños están tan contentos nada más de estar y como sentir tu vibra, que como es un poco adictivo, ¿no? Y sigue regresando y quieres que sean mejor y que aprendan más. And so like with these kids, when you teach them something that you're passionate about, like we had some people come from Korea and they were just like, all these kids were like, whoa, like I get to learn about this culture, and we had people teach them yoga and they're like, whoa. And just every time someone comes and teaches their passion, you just kind of get addicted to this feeling of like, hey, like there's these group of 40 kids that like are so into what I'm saying that I'm just going to teach them more and more and more, and that you pull other people, you know? So it just, I don't know. This project is the reason that I've stayed in Tulum. It's the reason that I love Tulum. And so whenever I meet someone that's just kind of floating, they're like, oh, like Tulum isn't how it used to be. I'm like, come to La Esquina. Like, come see what we're about, you know? Entonces cuando yo conozco gente que dice como, ay, es que Tulum, no, ya no es lo que era, como no sé, les digo, pues ven a La Esquina, ven a ver qué estamos haciendo con estos niños. Entonces es un proyecto que creo que de todo lo que estamos aprendiendo es padrísimo, como vamos a las pedaleadas y vamos a los diferentes eventos de la red sostenible y vamos, ¿sabes? Siempre estamos jalando a los niños y de repente de ser un grupo como, quizás son como 5 adultos, como, ahora es un grupo de 20 con los niños súper emocionados, you know? And so, like, sometimes when we have these kids, we'll take them to these events, and we've been able to create these communities. Like, we went to the farm, we go to the pedaleadas, we do all these things. And an event that could have been just kind of boring, just like a couple of adults, just like, all right, doing adult things, becomes super, super fun because all these kids are really excited. Like, when we went to the farm, like, all they wanted to do was hang out with the pig, you know? Like, and so as an adult, you're like, all right, like, we'll hang out with the pig. Let's do it, you know? Así como cuando fuimos a la granja, como lo único que querían hacer es jugar con el puerquito. Entonces, ¿qué dices? Pues jugamos con el puerquito. Y ya, y así es como van aprendiendo estas cositas, como cómo respetar a los otros, cómo respetar a la naturaleza, cómo respetar el planeta y ellos mismos, que es muy importante que a veces en estas comunidades respetarse a ti mismo no es la prioridad. Y definitivamente como es algo que tiene que pasar. And so with these kids, we're teaching them that, you know, we have these basics. We respect other people, we respect property, we respect nature, and most importantly, we respect ourselves. Because a lot of times in these communities, that kind of gets lost. You know, you have to watch your little brother, you have to watch your little sister, you have to make the food, you have to work, you have to do all these things, but it's never about you. And so we're really trying to inspire these kids to, you know, just care about themselves. And like today we had an incident and I looked at the kids and I was like, okay, tell me 3 things that you love about yourself. You know, instead of getting mad about the situation, it's like, no, like we realize why sometimes they forget to care, and it's because no one's taught them. And so that's what we're all here for, you know, like all of us as adults kind of, you know, giving a shit and teaching them how to be awesome and how to care about themselves. Y eso es lo que hacemos ahorita como adultos, es nuestra responsabilidad, como enseñarles, como, ¿por qué te tiene que importar a ti mismo? Como, ¿por qué eres importante? Porque el momento que tú eres importante, todo lo demás también te empieza a cuadrar. You know? The moment that you're important is the moment that you start to care about everything else around you. And so that's what we do at La Esquina. And I love this project. I love the people involved. I love the kids. So if you ever have... So yeah, if you ever have any free time, you want to come, you want to read a book, you want to play guitar, exactly like anything you were saying, if you want to teach yoga, man, I started doing this. I went to a couple of events, and I'm not going to lie, I was super intimidated. I was like, this is a lot. This is more than I can handle. So I just kept going, and I was just like in the shadows, and I was like, all right, yeah, I'll hand you some scissors. Here you go, you know? And one day, Claudia over there, she goes, hey, do you want to have the activity today? I was like, Lord Jesus, like, no, but I'll do it. Yeah, sure. And so I'm just Googling like science fair experiments. And that's what I did, because that's the world that I come from. And that's what I like to do. And so that's what I did with the kids. And they loved it because I loved it. You know? Entonces cuando yo empecé con La Esquina, no sabes, así fue un momento que sentía que no podía, que era demasiado, que no sabía cómo estar con estos niños. Entonces cuando me preguntó Claudia si quería yo dar mi primera actividad, cuando ya iba como 2 semanas de nada más así como, toma el lápiz, así como, muy bien, ¿no? Decidí, ok, pues si voy a hacer la actividad, voy a hacer algo que me gusta, entonces hice un proyecto de ciencia. Y les encantó porque a mí me encantó, ¿sabes? Entonces si tú tienes algo que te encanta, que es la razón que estás aquí en Tulum, que te encanta hacer cremas o te encanta dar clases de meditación o lo que sea, pues ven y enséñalos a los niños. So whatever you have, whatever you love, come and teach it to us, because these kids are more than happy to know everything about what you love. So thank you guys. So it's exactly 3 blocks behind the ADO, right? 3? Yeah, so you just walk dunk, 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 and it's right there. And if you keep walking, just real quick plug, we also started doing bi-weekly sessions at the local elementary school. We work with the 1st, 2nd, and 5th graders. So if anyone's interested in that, we really need more help. Y también, rápido, empezamos a hacer actividades en la primaria, trabajando con los de 1º, 2º y 5º, que está en la misma cuadra. Entonces, si alguien quiere hacer eso 2 veces a la semana, es muy divertido y necesitamos mucho más apoyo. Muchísimas gracias. Oh, any other questions? All right, sick. We'll see you there.
Wow. Remember, La Esquina needs a roof. And Radio Tulum was built on the idea and the phrase and the idea, not just the words, with generosity of spirit. And generosity of spirit means to not be cheap. We can be cheap so often because we don't think we have something. Gather up your generosity of spirit and let it rise. And don't try to take a little bit from your generosity because then it's not generous. Hear the love in all that you do. I think Abuelo is going to come up and announce something for the kids. Abuelo, por favor. Did you want to, Sofia?
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to announce that we will have on 13 and 14 of this month of February, which is the Day of Love. If somebody doesn't know, the 14th of February, we celebrate in all the country the Day of the Love. So that day, we have received from the Foundation Leopoldo Alcántara, from very good friends from Mexico City, a donation of 500 toys for our children of the Mayan community. In Cisbichen town, where Abuelo and me work, and he has been there doing this service since 18 years ago. And so we're very happy that to share this with you, and also, like our dear mentioned, that anything that you will love to share with the children, it's really very valuable. All of we have different knowledge, different things that we know and we love to do, and it's very nice to share. You will enjoy it. You will be very happy because these children, they have such an energy, such a purity that you learn from them very much. You will see that. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, so there's a couple of people that are running low on time. So we're going to move on, and I'm going to invite Roberto from Restore Coral. We're planning a lot of things together. Of course, as you know, the coral's in trouble, and we have to help it. So here we
I've been coming back and forth since 2014, more or less. And the reason, because I came in 4 years ago, it was to evaluate if Quintana Roo was ready for a social innovation project that can contribute to restore the coral reefs. Unfortunately, at the time, the diagnostic was negative, but you know, I'm Mexican, and we're stubborn. And when I realized everything that was going on in terms of corruption, in terms of the lack of awareness of the consequences of losing the second largest coral reef in the world, we have half of that reef. And you know, I was very lucky to get involved into a program that basically generates agents of change. So I'm a social innovator. By now, I have consolidated my position in Mexico City as an action-oriented civic society. I work with the government, I work with the UN, but not for the government or for the UN. But I decided that I have to get involved, you know, because the most important decision was being made on those levels, right? So my hypothesis on this project, we are a United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 14 program, which is basically preserve life underwater, no? And as you know, coral reefs are basically what sustains 25% of all life underwater. They're also super connected with the mangroves, and that makes pretty much a very wide range of influence for my work. And that includes plastic, also fishery, public policy, and many of that. So my hypothesis is how social innovation and global emerging technologies can contribute to social change. Therefore, we managed to implement these different technologies and methodologies in order to contribute to this battle, okay? So we find out that, you know, from virtual reality to generate this wow effect is it's very funny when you are talking to people about something that is only a concept, not really something they understand. And unfortunately, scuba diving is expensive. Only 1.5% of the human population has been actually underwater. That means there's only a very few who really understand the jewel that we have right next to us. And you know, like right now we live in the era of internet, so big data is amazing. So strategic intelligence, it was super handy to look for information, highlight the key stakeholders of the whole coral restoration movement that unfortunately right now we are in resilience. there is no longer a way to stop or correct the sea temperature rising, which means a total bleaching effect on the majority of the reefs around the world. So I know that, you know, it's like, so why we do more? Why to do more? Well, we need to do it, okay? And we also were experimenting with blockchain, with satellite monitoring, smart reef technology. We managed to create some innovations on those fields. Art and culture as an activator of human consciousness, soft power social change. You know, we're a very small organization, so we need to be smart on how to move these giants, corporations, and public system. Can you go ahead? So in this universe of information, we are members of the IODE, International Oceanographic Data and Exchange Program from UNESCO. And it's basically how we get so smart and always have, you know, first access to the information, including the bad news. I sent to Abuelo the whole newsletter of the report of the oceans on COP24, and it was pretty depressing, but anyway. And also where the money is going. Did you know that there's actually been, you know, in December there was a financial gathering of the UN, and they said that they will already spend $2 billion on the Mexican reef. And you know, the more I ask my friends who's been working on the reef for many, many years, they don't know where that money is. So there's a tricky thing that we need to fix right there. That's why now the agenda is to work bottom up, because the top down is not working at all. So it's cooperatives, the municipality, the community, what needs to create the hook, the tube, the connection, so we can access to this impact funding. Because right now it's just a speculation and financement, and if we had $2 billion and you give it to the right Mexicans, we will be like administering coral reef for the rest of the world like in a week, you know? I know that. Can you go ahead? So Eyes on the Sky, it was very interesting to realize that the NASA people were not that aware of the importance of coral reefs, and you know, we were not really aware of how much progress they have in NASA and NOAA and all of them in terms of satellite monitoring. What you see is basically the temperature of 2017 in August, and the same time we managed to take some monitoring over there, and there's already the bleaching effect. I'm focused on Cozumel because is the 100% of the economical activity depends on the coral reef, so they're the ones who are going to suffer right away. In Tulum it's different, but in Tulum was signed the Declaration of Tulum, which is the first legal recognition from Guatemala, Honduras, and Belize of the value of this ecosystem. So we're claiming that date, and we're going to do the anniversary of the Mesoamerican Reef, the 10th of March, here in Tulum. And I'm going to bring all the mission-dependent components to create a high-impact restoration and resilience program. So I hope you can join us and help us out with that. Can you go ahead? Astrobiology, a little, you know, tricky thing that we are exploring with the Mexican Space Agency. Like I say, and this is something that we've been doing, basically awareness campaigns, and we're trying to get like a massive fundraising with, of course, a platform that can be made of blockchain. Now I have good news on blockchain because it was not ecologically friendly, but now there's a protocol of security that might allow us to be able to connect all the people who works on restoration and make sure they get every single one, if it's research and development or if it's just monitoring a part of their share. And we've been doing virtual reality, augmented reality workshops and murals. I know, have you seen the coral murals around? Well, we made like 70 around the country, from the Caribbean to the Pacific. We've been very active on that thanks to our partners. A lot of presence on social media and TV. This is basically because the understanding of science is kind of, you know, is not taken in the right way. Science is an amazing thing that we should all be excited about, but there's not enough people knowing what is gonna happen, and we need to address that to the biggest amount of people. Can we go ahead? So this is some of the murals. And you know, we did a few over there, and these are edutainment platform for virtual reality experiences. Through virtual memories, we're allowing the kids to swim on the Great Barrier Reef, on the Mayan Reef, and finally understand why it's important to preserve these ecosystems. So we've done the fancy parties from Burning Man to you know, sonar or whatever, but also, you know, to the Mayan communities and the rural schools, in which this is something that is called digital gap reduction. So you take a new technology to the people who normally get it at the last. And the first encounter with this technology is an environmental content. So you unleash that curiosity on the kids, and it's a soft power social change effect. Can you go ahead? So through these actions, we've been, you know, welcome to the UN. This was in the World Oceans Day. Right before this, we managed to have a congress, a forum on the Congress of the Nation, in which we established the importance of preserving the coral reefs. And due to that exercise, we got a lot of support from the last administration. We are also very well connected on this one, but so things are going to move farther. This was a campaign in which we placed in every single airport of the nation of Mexico the invitation to come over to the Caribbean and plant a coral. We want to democratize the coral restoration for us citizens, you know, because right now it's pretty exclusive to very big NGOs or of the government. Can you go ahead? And this is something that we did next to the World Ocean Summit. This was Ocean Talks, because when they invite all these great people that I met on the high-level events of the UN, and they brought them to Mexico, the economists, they were charging $2,500 for an entrance, $1,800 for an NGO, local NGO. So guess how many local NGOs or local people were? None, you know. So I was totally against of this. So they all follow, and these people that you see there, they have pretty much all the knowledge that you need to create a lab and start restoring a coral reef everywhere, okay? And they've been certified by the UN. There's even one that financed the whole operation. But the administration in Cozumel just looked at that and left, and never really took the opportunity that it was presented in front of them, and nobody of them charged one penny to be there, because they all love Mexico, they all love the Mexican reefs, and they all want to help. Next one. So then we went to the World Ocean Summit, thanks to Silvia. Silvia is a good friend that invited us a few times to do to share space with her. She's definitely my personal superhero and a woman to learn a lot. And then we went to EarthX as well to basically consolidate the community, and that's how we had the opportunity to invite the Plastic Alliance and also join forces with them, because we need to have an holistic vision to solve the conflict. It's not just one end. Can you go ahead? So I hope I finally got the money to do this. The very hated taxi, syndicate. I talked to them and I say, "Hi guys, you have such a ugly reputation. You need to help me out with something, and it's gonna look great on you." So we're gonna have like all the taxi, bags of Quintana Roo, with promoting the restoration of coral reefs. So it's not about being in conflict. It's embracing let's all have bad guys make good guys. Let's change that. And this is my favorite part of my work. Basically, I found out that, as Arnold said, we need more action-oriented civic society, because the government is there to do the things that we demand. And when we get that, we actually start to exercise this power, and things happen. So I did something called One Vote, One Coral. Can you go ahead? In the last elections here in the state of Quintana Roo. That's how the elected governor closed his campaign, and he win for the minimum vantage. So that was like supposed to be like the last spring, and due to this, the state program of coral restoration began by a commitment that Inapesca and CONAM has to plant 260,000 coral colonies. That was the original idea, but now they're saying units. But I think they're going to go into colonies again, because we're doing something about it. But that means 6,240,000 coral units. So even that we are not the ones who are planting the coral, because we don't have the capacity, it was a citizens' initiative that moved that element on the government, And we need to understand that it's not about putting the government to work on it. is really impossible, the challenge for one single actor. We all need to engage. Academia, civic society, public sector, and private sector. Can you help? So this was on the Senate, and with this, we managed to have a point of agreement. We need to work more in a law and modifications on the law. But through this document, the legislative power exhorts the executive power to allow civic society to participate in coral restoration and include innovation on it. Okay, so we open a little door for every activist and NGOs that wants to exercise the right to preserve their own reef. So we want to be able to help all of the region to be able to engage on coral restoration. It's not something that anybody can do alone, so we need coordinated action. Can you head? In the World Oceans Day, this year I was in Mexico City, we managed to make a little event, but we introduced suggestions to the new government. And they took it and published it, so we have the honor to say that we actually are incentivizing the public policy in oceans of the next 6 years of our government. No? Another one. A lot of friends and partners. We've been awarded for some things. Agents of Change. We are part of the TEDx community, Black Rock City, Mexico, blah, blah, blah. We do also art that, art awareness, all of that. We are working on this solution for blockchain because, I stopped on this because I realized that the computing, processing energy waste, it was too much. So I was generating more problem that I was fixing. But now there's a new protocol on an amazing platform that I highly suggest you to check out. That's Tron. And it seems now it's ecological, so we're going to keep trying to bring this so we make sure the money goes into the right hands, which is the local people that needs to be financed. The fishermen, the cooperatives that we are honored to have here as guests, and we're going to be collaborating with the local cooperatives in order to totally. That beautiful fish that you're about to eat is made by the cooperatives, and they're all jumping into the game of conservation. They understand that even, they can go deep and swim for hours, but they're not getting the same amount of fish. Even the Mexican Institute of Fishery wants to move them to another activity because fishing is not like on the horizon of sustainability. So this is all the coral reefs on top in red, and down there is the blue carbon. Okay, so that captures 5 times more CO2 than the Amazon, and we are the 3rd most important country on blue carbon on the world. So we also have a great opportunity to jump into the blue carbon markets and basically we just need to make sure that the money goes into the right hands. And there's also valuations of tourism activities, so we can really justify a lot of the natural capital. So we can put that into, the balances, and so now we can measure economical ROI, environmental ROI, and social ROI. Can we go ahead? So this was in the Sustainable Innovation Forum. That's part of how we get like all the technology and all of that. And we are now members of the Open Explorer initiative from National Geographic. One of the big issues that we have on coral restoration is that not many people know about it, even that now is starting to get into the hype. But Nat Geo is bringing a great program in which we can all participate in a collective monitoring experience. And the drones that they have, they also, you can hack them and expand them with new technology so you can measure other elements so it can go into a really high-end science monitoring experience. Like, see? This is what we would love to see here in the area. This is a biorock structure with some innovations of our own that can basically adapt temperature and empower the growth of the coral. And we can have this shape in modular structures and sink it in the water and create, basically an activity that allows tourism to engage on restoration, finance this restoration, and doesn't even need like a big gear to participate. Can you go ahead? We have a full sustainability model. One of these babies can produce a lot of money, and this money can be used to do more of these sustainable models, which means that we can expand. It's an exponential scalable solution. So we already have this going on in Cozumel. Our MVP is there. And we have from scientific community students coming over to the farmlands. We do microfragmentation, assisted sexual reproduction and fragmentation, and then we have underwater farms that we grow coral and send it to these structures of biorock, and that's an activity that people love to do. We have over 300 people certified, and they all love it, okay? So we have these technologies. Now we got a donation for a new one, a nanotechnology reef that we're gonna be able to sink in the 10th of March, hopefully. And we want to bring this model here to Tulum. We know that Tulum is not the main reef destination of the state, but we have a beautiful reef that is about to crash right in front of the Tulum ruins. So we will have two ruins, one in front of the other. So that's a shame. So we want to speed up this, so maybe we can all engage on preserving that beautiful reef. Ahead. So this is how the coral farms looks like. That's what we have over there. We already planted about 3,000 units. This is an old PDF, and this is how it looks, an assisted coral reproduction in lab, okay? So we're working right now with INAPESCA and with UNAM, Anastasia Banasak. So imagine that instead of having one single big multi-billionaire lab of coral restoration, like other countries can afford to have, what we did is a way to connect everyone who's doing this and create pretty much the equivalent force. Because we have the capacity, but we are not connected. If you ask me, like, really, what is the reason that we are not achieving the goal of sustainability in general, it's because of the ego of the people. You know, we hate to really, how can I say, it's hilarious because, you know, you have researchers who are so stick to the research, and they have so much understanding of some specific thing, but they don't connect the dots with the rest of the things that has to you know, basically flow together to make it happen. So, but now we're moving that. They all understand that we're really running, I mean, we're already late, but we can do something. So this is how a biorock structure looks like. That's a simple one. As you can see, you can do it even on a snorkel. But, you know, Richard Branson just made the most beautiful one in Necker Island. It's amazing. So we want to high level that way. Like I see, you can even get energy from the waves, and like I see. And this is why we did it. It's the first natural capital valuation of the reef that is available. So you can run numbers and make financial calculations, and, you know, haven't taken it into a more serious one. But we need to make a natural capital study of the whole region of Quintana Roo. You know, every single municipio needs to understand how much it's worth to have jungle, to have the cenotes, to have everything, because the lack of understanding of that is what the abuse, you know, begins. Go ahead. That was a full clean energy program for Cozumel. Hasn't been implemented, but it's really easy to do it now. I'm sure here in Tulum is going to be even easier. So we can really see an horizon on moving the electricity grid into renewable energy. Go ahead. So this is how we are aiming right now. We want to be in Cancun, Akumal, Puerto Morelos, Tulum, Mahahual, Bacalar, and every single place that we can actually engage people in action. And the next idea will be to have a program of decarbonization of tourism, because it is the transportation and all of that what is really generating this effect. And, you know, we have one of the most active airports in the planet. And, you know, all of the airlines have to compensate their impact by flying over. So that money can be transferred in the right way to the right places if we all work together as civic society. Can go ahead. So that is the region of the Mesoamerican Reef. And if things go well, the scalability of the solution can go on all of that region. And that's like 4 million square kilometers of natural, you know, underwater ecosystems and coastal communities. So it's a huge impact. And we're aiming that way. I mean, we're focusing on consolidating one minimum viable product, but the challenge there is really to package, put it on a container, and ship it everywhere is needed. So you get your entire kit of how to restore your own reef. And now we just partnered, this is an exclusive of Radio Tulum. There's a lab of cryogenization here in Mexico. They're normally protecting seeds and some of the fishery, but now we just signed a commitment that they're going to start to freeze the the genome of the coral. So that was something that we were also ahead, because if the temperature goes like that, we're going to need to grow them in the lab, but we will be there ready for that as well. So thank you.
Hey, I'm just going to do an exercise with you. You can talk to him personally. I'm going to do an exercise. Can you, everybody, take a breath? Okay. Now take a deeper breath. The first breath you took is the forests that help you breathe and create oxygen for you. The second breath, the deeper breath, is the corals. That's how much they generate oxygen through all the ecosystem. So they are very important. Rise up and gather around and heal the corals. And I know we're going to participate in a lot of things. And we've got another person. We're running sort of behind. There's a couple of people that want to leave. And I want to bring up the great Mauricio, who has created WOOLIS Solutions, which is what it's called now. And he's going to tell you a little bit. He's not got a lot of time, about what he's done to change garbage. One of the things that he told me yesterday, and we're going to have a little movie to showcase a little bit more of Mauricio right after, is that 60% of our garbage is compost. So if you have locals, if you have people who are you can get involved, and your home, try composting. It's really going to help the solution. Mauricio, why don't you explain it to them?
Thank you, Mandeep. Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Is this working? Yeah? Okay, cool. My name is Mauricio, and about 2 years ago yesterday, we started collecting organic waste here in Tulum. 3 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, we decided to do a magazine article on the garbage problem. And this took us to the municipal dump. It's a dumping site because it's not a relleno sanitario. It's just a space in the jungle where for a very long time we threw our garbage away over there. This investigation took me to kind of like see where it is that we were doing about it, what actions were taking place, what the level of consciousness was about this issue. And it led me to meet really, really interesting people and projects that they're working on. After the magazine article was released, this is when I realized that it is like there is consciousness, the people do know about it, but it's kind of like the do not smoke signs on our cigarettes. You know it's bad for you, but you still do it. So I decided to do something, and the best solution that I could think of is to provide and make it really easy to make an impact. So I started WOOLIS. WOOLIS is circle, round in Maya. And what we do is provide a service where we make solutions really easily for people to be able to engage and to do something about it. Being a cook by nature, by trade, I decided to probably pay attention to the area that I really understood, which is organic waste. And we decided to start a service where we collect organic garbage, organic wasted material from restaurants, hotels, and bars every day. And this has been going on now for 2 years. We work with more than 30 different businesses here in Tulum. And what we do is, one, we go into the business, we do trainings, we get the staff. The people that I'm really going after is the dishwashers, the waiters, the stewards, and the bartenders, the bar backs. These are the key people. This is the majority of the people that do the work, and they're the ones that have to do the separation. And then after that, I go for upper management and kind of train them. So the first thing that we do is talk about the problem in Tulum. We've been composting for about 2 years, and now we're getting a lot of compost, obviously. This compost is returned to our clients as well. But not only that, being a chef, well, growing food and creating a clean system was really important for me. So we started embarking on a adventure, you might say it, of trying to grow things here in the Yucatan, and also closer to and also closer to the beach. And we're not farmers, but we definitely do our best. And yeah, we've had some interesting results in order to create clean foods and to get those clean foods at a more affordable price and share it with everybody. Right now we're working really hard on seeds, so getting plants to their reproductive cycle so that we can create and harvest seeds which are already acclimatized to this weather, the type of soil. Also, the jungle is very much a very vicious place, you might say it. There's a lot of different dramas going on. So they have to get also used to the pests. So we're completely 100% chemical free in what we do. And in order to enrich us in this process, we have last month in December, 2 months ago, we signed a collaboration with the Colegio Agropecuario de Concal. This is an agricultural college in Concal in Yucatan. And what we're trying to do is get the 1,200 students that are working there to produce our food for the future, to kind of think along those lines and think outside the box. Because from what we see, even though they're trying to reduce the use of chemicals in the growth of our food, it's still very much a very strong part of their curriculum. And all problems seem to be fixed with chemical add-ons. So we're talking to them, and we've shown them our project. We show them what we've done at the farm, even though it's very small and very much a pilot project. They were very impressed, and we're happy to be sharing our knowledge with them and them with us to help us do more research into how to grow better food for in the future. So slowly but surely, we're coming up with solutions for problems caused by us and the way modern society lives, and the antiquated systems that we use for growing our food, which are also part of the problems to the corals, to the oceans, to the way we distribute the logistics of food and the packaging of food. Food is very much an important part of the problems that we see nowadays. So we think tackling that and then upcycling the food waste, it's the right way to go. Anyways, thank you. The farm is by Eshpuha. It's that altitude and about 3 kilometers into the jungle. By the way, you're all more than welcome to come visit us. It's a very transparent project. You can find us on Instagram or on Facebook. Write to us and we can organize like a tour for you guys to see. We've already been blessed to have a lot of kids there to come visit us and talk about what it is that we do, and also a way of thinking on solving problems. Yeah.
I also want to let you know that Bohem is now a collection point for any of your composts or any of your neighbors' composts. So please, if you don't have one of those great boxes that sparked this idea, please bring it here and we'll collect it for you, and we'll get it to the compost and to the farm. Thank you so much. We have a little documentary that we just did for this great man who's helping us solve some great problems and some actionable items. Garbage is a big problem, and imagine if we solve the compost, we could solve 50% of our problems. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Love you. Thank you so much for everything you do. Since Jorge, I don't know. Oh, there you are. You got the movie ready? I think, all right, well, I'm going to read you a little poem. that I have recently wrote, or an idea that I thought of. There's a lot of heroes in this place. There's a lot of bright sides. And the idea occurred to me to notate where are the heroes of the heroes. If only I could find it. Give me a second. And the idea is that we must lift our heroes. We must participate. If we can ourselves do something, we should at least lift the ones that are. We should support the independent voices, the people that are doing something. It's really quite important because they need your support. Again, to go back to the idea of generosity of spirit, it is a crucial part of our existence. How do you spell heroes? Heroes. Here it is. Where are the heroes of the heroes? That whom stand in the shadows of these giants of love, whom travel far and wide, echoing voices to the universe, into you and I, who subside on this earth. And these heroes, they give us roots, they soften our hearts, for we are roughed up by the rising winds. They surrender to us their wings. The heroes of heroes that stand in kindness of the vision, that whom absorb and serve the giants of our times, that which live in the shadows and mark and recall. Where are the heroes of the heroes? Tell me, where have they gone? In a land of rust and dust, of regard of fame, and the tigers tamed, where we want to believe we are the heroes, and we rise with an eagle's chest, but we are hollow under our bloated chest. That's where our egos lie. For the heroes, they stand alone inside the forest, in the cities, at the tip of lilies inside the caves. They stand in the frontiers of tomorrow and of change. These heroes must live there where you and I cannot go. So we must watch from a distance, for their rays are long and penetrate our beings to become whole. These are the heroes whom sacrifice themselves, for these are humans of dreams fulfilled. These are humans of regard, humans who sacrifice themselves over the sword, so that the race can flourish as a whole. Heroes of the heroes, I call to you. The heroes need you, for their weight is much. They are the tapping shoe, and they are the music in your cuff. So let your love surrender and be glad to serve the calls of the grand and the unknown that will flourish into our blossoms and the fruits. So let your actions reign supreme, and soon you will yourselves become a hero on the scene. Hear the love in all that you do, and remember to go support these heroes with a generosity that is whole, that is not divided in half or taken away 10%. Oh my God, I shouldn't give that much. Generosity is whole. Love is whole. Your heart within the heart you must find, and hear the love in all that you do. This is Radio Tulum, and this is Love for Tulum.